okay. I mean, you know, you don't know. I mean, you don't know who your audience is, and you can't. I never expected to have a show at the Met. I didn't think I was going to have a drawing show at the Met. It started with the Demon Hill, and the Demon Hill partnered up with San Francisco, and they wanted to bring it to New York, and the Met said, oh, they wanted to take it. The Met said they'd take it if they could have it first, and I thought, fine. But I didn't think I was going to have a drawing show at the Met, ever.
How far do you think about your audience when you make work?
You can't think about your audience. I mean, you know, you think about yourself, and you... No, I mean, if you start thinking about your audience, you really start throwing fish. I mean, you know, you can always satisfy an audience. Not too hard to do. I mean, there's a lot of eye candy out there. It's not so hard to do.
I have today. I find a lot.
I think you better get a...
I just think a lot of your works at the exhibition are really repetitive, so I was just wondering, I know a lot of artists do works that are similar, like they have works that are similar, but you can really tell them apart, either through color or I guess just some sort of difference in style, but yours are just really, a lot of them, I can't tell the difference. I find them really powerful, but I just wondering, like, in your process of making them?
We could play a little game here. You could go through the book and tell me which ones are similar. Okay?
All right.
But I could also tell you, even if you find ones that are similar, I'm interested in repetition and I'm interested in similarities. Because I think the way that you understand dissimilarities is by comparing similarities, not by comparing dissimilarities. Did you follow that? Okay. The way that you understand similarities is by comparing dissimilarities within the similarities. You don't compare dissimilarities to dissimilarities. It doesn't do me much good to compare this to this. But if I'm doing two things that are similar that are dissimilar, I can make a comparison. You don't really know what you're doing until you do 15 of them, and then maybe the 15th one critiques the first, and then you're into something that's your own language. And then your own language critiques your own language. But I would like you to go through the book and find drawings that are similar. That would interest me, because I would like to know how they're similar. I mean, maybe some of the paper sizes are similar, but the marking's not similar in any of them. The shapes aren't similar. The surfaces aren't similar. I mean, what is it that you thought was repetitive or similar?
Just when you go through the show, I feel like I feel the same, exactly the same. Even though however powerful they are, I just get the same feeling for them. I just don't feel like, you know, they do different things for me.
That's fine. Did you feel that the same about other people also?
No, I don't.
So everybody else other than me does things that...
Well, how to put this? Like Donald Judd does a lot of cabinets, and since they have different colors or they have different size, I guess they do have some sort of same impact, but when I look at them, I perceive them differently.
But I think right there, I mean, Judd actually works in series, and I don't think you're going to find many things in this drawing show that are serial in that way, except for one drawing right in the beginning, which is a serial drawing made of, I don't know, 18 parts or something. But
okay. Now I get it. I feel like it's more important to you. The process is more important to you than it is to me. I mean, I guess it's just
I would hope that my process is more important to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just now understand it. I guess it's just like your practice is, I guess you see it, I guess, differently. You see them differently.
I think it would really be interesting. You don't have to do it, but it'd be interesting for you to go back to the show and go into one room and say, okay, I'm going to look at these drawings, and then I'm going to go to the next room and ask myself, is the drawing in the next room like the drawing in the last room? Oh, I'll give an example. There's the first room, which there are a lot of drawings which were what I almost think of student drawings, just kind of open the show. And then there's a trapezoid, and then there's two shapes next to it. Then you're round the corner, and there's a drawing that's on one wall, and it's also in the wall in the corner. So it makes a corner in the space. So it makes a space within the space of the architecture. Now, that's not anything like the single shapes that have come before. There's only one single shape in the room before and a double single shape. And then you have a corner drawing right into the corner. Then it's not like any two that came before. The next thing you have is 4 steel shapes on the wall, very small, covered with paint stick, and a circle high up on the wall. The next thing you have are 2 planes on 2 opposite walls. The next thing you have is one floor to ceiling. And none of those are anything alike, not in shape, not in size, not in how they occupy the context. I mean, if you follow those 4 rooms. Now, if you want to go on, we can go on through the next, the next, the next, but I mean, the show's not laid out to make it difficult to understand the differences. But here, I'll give you one. Here, free. Seriously. Yeah.
We have time for one more question,
Sure.
and I have one right here.
Sometimes when you ask architects who they're most influenced by, their answer is that they're influenced mostly by artists. So I guess you've mentioned space a lot, and certainly your sculptures are incredibly architectural. Could you talk a little bit about your relationship to architects and architecture?
I can only probably give you one example, and it's an example I've used a lot, is that I went into Father Quintana in Rome to see a Borromini church, and I misinterpreted the main atrium there. There's an oval on the floor and an oval in the ceiling, and I thought that they were off-centered, and I misread my illusion. But I was more interested and confounded by my misreading, and I wasn't so interested in the singularity of the unit going from floor to ceiling, but I wanted to see if I could attempt to make my misreading into a form. So in that sense, I think how you misuse history as interesting as how you use it. And I think that's what artists do. I think they purposely misinterpret art history for their own purposes, if they find it useful. If they interpret it as they think it's going to be useful, then they're probably doing something fairly academic. I think there's a really good book by Harold Bloom called The Anxiety of Influence, and it deals with just that problem. Are we going to sign books? Good.
Well, thank you very much, Richard Serra, who's going to stick around. Thank you all for coming. We're going to start with the front row to my right, so if you can line up over here, and everyone else, please remain where you are. I'm going to call you up by row. Thank you all for coming tonight. Upcoming events are at strandbooks.com.